Continuing on with our study of this scissor sweep, we looked at this sort of grip concepts on Tuesday night's class, where I can make that as a wedge so Carl can't collapse my knees. Then we looked at how if I couldn't make that grip, because we're going to probably, as I try to find grips, at the end of the battle of the hand fight, he'll not let me get that collar grip, so this grip under the tricep was a good easy grip to get, and then we found the sleeve. Okay? And then again I'll open my legs, get the angle, bring my whole scissor sweep position, foot on the hip, and work on those 5 concepts. Another variation on this is the 2-on-1. So again, I can make the cross grip, okay, with my right hand, and my left can find that grip again, but only this time it's on the same arm. Okay? From there I'm going to open up my guard. I still think the best way to get into it is using the contact of my legs on Carl's hips. Shrimp onto my side. And now from there I get my foot on his hip and I want my knee pointing straight up. Again, the main thing the main problem from the scissor sweep is the driving down. Carl can use his hand to push my knees down, start to put the pressure on, sprawl, and then walk around and pass my guard. So knowing that, when I make the cross grip, and again I'll be taking the slack, this grip's important because it helps me break the posture, which was the second concept. When I do bring my knee shield in, the second concept was actually getting Carl's head over his hips. And that's the battle, okay? So from our position, when I'm pulling here, and I also make that wedge, see the way I've L-shaped my right foot, and it's connected to Carl's left hip. So it's a battle of Carl trying to keep his posture, okay? And I'm trying to get his head over his hip. So I'm using the pull on the lapel with the hook. So once I get his head in front of his hips, okay, the third concept was I can just use him to tilt him onto that side. So all the weight's kind of going on the Carl's knee. I want to put him on his shoulder line, not his hip. And then the fifth concept was, is his knee in line with his hip? If it is, I just drop this foot down. And again, here's where I'm sweeping to. Okay, so I want Carl's shoulder line in line with mine. And then it becomes the battle. Who can get their hip over who's first? So again, we were letting go of the grips and getting into that crescent position. And then I just extend my hip and I'm up into the mount. So it doesn't really matter what grip you get, it'll just become a battle. I mean, normally the scissor sweep is taught from this collar grip, collar and sleeve, and then you shrimp it out, and then in my whole position. But sometimes that grip is hard to get. If Carl's constantly posturing from there, an easier grip to get is that cross grip. So just at the sleeve, so that's 4 fingers into the cuff, and then my left hand just takes the slack out. This is quite a good grip, this 2-on-1 grip for breaking posture. So I'm going to open my legs. I use that to turn onto my side, and then when I bring my knee in, foot goes on the hip, and I want my knee pointing straight up. Again, I'll move myself back, so I have that box principle. My foot's going to stay on this hip. If Carl tries to put weight in me, I can keep that weight off him. And now from here, I need to get his head in front of his hips. So I'm using the pull on the gi here, but I'm also using that hook, that L shape just at his hip. So I can do that, and when we get better at this, I'll do 2 and 3 in one go. And not only will I bring his head in front of his hips, I'll also put his weight over one knee. And then from there, I just take his hip away. Again, I don't worry too much about that. It's the battle. If I wait and procrastinate, Carl's going to bring his knee in. He's up in the single leg X, and I do not want that problem. So the battle is, how do I get my hip in front of Carl's hips first? And especially even if he makes it, he's pushing me away there. So that concept of removing frames, I just turn, once I turn my body down, one more time on that. Cross grip, 2-on-1 grip, open my legs, shrimp out, make sure my knee's up. If he happens to try and bring it down, I'll be bringing it back up again. Okay? Once I get to that scenario, it's the hook and the pull to get his head over his hips, and then I put the weight on the knee. That's the main thing people don't do. Carl widens his knee. We looked at that other variation. There's no way I'm going to scissor him now. Once his knee steps outside his hip line, so then that becomes the push. So then I just push his knee in line with his hip. Okay, and then I get my cards. So nothing too complicated there. Let's do that.